Good Sunday evening or afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Weather with Sim again. I hope you guys are all having a great day so far. And in today's weather forecast, we're going to be going over a lot of severe weather, and we are going to be looking out for future severe weather events as we do head into the middle of June. But we're also going to be going over the severe weather threats for the next couple of days too as well, which some of them have changed a little bit, but some of them are quite far out, so do still expect some things to change as we do go over it. But starting off with today's outlook, and I did show you this earlier, I know I am using a different PC outlook, but this is the same outlook as today, or what I showed you guys in the last video. So as you guys can see, we still do have an enhanced level 3 out of 5 threat for severe thunderstorms across portions here of Nebraska, mainly including the central part, but also back down towards northern Kansas, and as well as extreme northeast Colorado will be in that enhanced risk. And around that, we do also have the slight risk, which does include quite a bit of areas. We're going to be watching areas as far down south as the Mexico border. I do think some areas down here could get some severe weather, even over here towards the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but even up here towards the Canada border around the Dakotas will also be another area to watch too as well. And then areas around that, not as high as a severe weather threat because it's just marginal in this green color, but I still do think a severe thunderstorm or two will likely happen, but somewhere in this green color. And like I said, it's a pretty low threat, so don't expect to see a ton of severe weather, but like I said, I do expect to at least see a few severe thunderstorms in this green shaded color. If we look at the tornado threat for today, as you can see, the Storm Prediction Center did add another 5% risk for tornadoes across the Amarillo and as well as the Lubbock region. So if you do have any plans tonight, make sure you do have your tornado action plan in place this evening heading into the overnight hours tonight. But we also do have another 5% risk for tornadoes, which this one has still been the same since my last video during the morning, and as well as the last Storm Prediction Center update. So if you also do live in this 5% tornado threat up here to the north, also make sure you do have ways to receive alerts this evening and as well as into the overnight hours today. But even around that, pretty much in this green color, that's a 2% risk for tornadoes. We will need to be watching this green color too as well, and the green color again is just marginal, so there won't be as high as a tornado threat in this green color, but still I would recommend having your tornado action plan in place just in case if you do live in this green color. Now if we look at the wind threat, as you can see, winds are definitely a lot more concerning pretty much in this red color. As you can see, we do have a 30% risk for damaging winds pretty much in this red color, and not only the red color, I also do think we could see some hurricane force winds as far down south as the central Texas region, and this will be for this evening and as well as into the overnight hours, where we could certainly see some hurricane force winds. So certainly be on the lookout for some hurricane force winds as far down south as the central Texas area, but even up here into places like western Nebraska, back into southeast Wyoming will be some more areas to watch for. But even if you don't live in the black outlined area, so if you just live in this blank 15% yellow color around that, which does include the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but also includes areas up here towards the Canada border and as well as areas down here towards Mexico, still be on the lookout for some pretty good high winds around 60 to 70 miles an hour. And then even this brown color, not as high, again pretty marginal in this brown color, but I would still be on the lookout too as well. Now for the hail threat, as you can see, we do have a 30% hatched risk for large hail, and because of the hatched risk, we could be talking some 2-inch in diameter hail or greater. So even if you live as far down south as Fort Stockton, Texas, but also the Midland, Lubbock, and as well as the Amarillo region, but also as far north as the Canada border. Make sure you do put your cars in your garage, because I do think we could see some 2-inch hail, and as well as some bigger hailstones this evening, and as well as into the overnight hours. So not only have your tornado action plan in place, but also make sure you do have ways to receive alerts for large hail and as well as damaging winds. Now, if we look at tomorrow's threat, okay, there's day 2. As you can see, it is much different, and that's because a lot of this activity has shifted off to the east. We do have a marginal risk of severe weather, pretty much in this green color right here, heading from southern Wisconsin all the way back down towards the Mexico border. So certainly a pretty big area we do need to be watching closely, but even over here in this yellow color, we could be talking some potential severe weather, which as of right now, I don't think we're going to be talking anything significant, because as of right now, we don't really have a high tornado threat as we do head into tomorrow. As you can see, we only have 2% areas to be watching for, one up here towards southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois, but also another one down here towards the deep south and as well as the Dixie Alley area. And the reason why I circled that area is because I think down here is looking a little bit more concerning, especially because it was in that slight risk. So if you do live in the slight risk area, which is right here, which does include southwest Arkansas, back into southeast Oklahoma, back into the Dallas-Fort Worth area, even into northwest Louisiana, including Shreveport, make sure you are watching the weather very closely as we head into tomorrow. Wind threat, we just have a 15% risk for damaging winds across the entire slight risk area that I just showed you, but even that damaging wind threat does also include the entire marginal risk too as well. And then hail threat, not as concerning. We will likely see larger hail up here to the north, but I also do think we could be talking some pretty decent sized hail down here to the south, so not as concerning as damaging winds and tornadoes, but I still do think we could see some 1 to 2 inch hail in some areas, but chances are pretty low overall. And now, last but not least, let's go ahead and take a look at day 3, okay? We do have a small marginal risk heading from northeast Kansas back up here towards the Minnesota and as well as the Wisconsin region. So we do have another day that we do need to be watching for potential severe weather, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Storm Prediction Center did issue a slight risk somewhere in this area as we do head into tomorrow, because that's when they will issue the hazards for day 3. Now, let's go ahead and look at the temperature outlook, and as you can see, some things have changed quite a bit, especially across the eastern United States, where we are still expecting some below average temperatures, and that will pretty much be from June 8th all the way to June 12th will be the time frame to watch for some below average temperatures across the entire eastern United States. But even over here out to the west, I do think we could be seeing some well above average temperatures in some areas out here to the west. So certainly going to be also another area that we do need to be watching closely. Now, if we look at the 8 to 14 day outlook with the temperatures, okay, that is pretty much from June 10th all the way to June 16th, so certainly a different time frame to watch for. And as you can see, not as much of a below average temperature threat across the eastern United States, and as you can see, there's not as high as a probability as there were. It's pretty much the darker the color, the higher the probability, and as you can see, there's not as much of a dark blue color as there was on the 6 to 10 day outlook. But I still do think the entire eastern United States will at least see some degrees below average. So certainly still going to be watching for some cold air surging out here to the east. But even over here in the west and as well as the southern United States will be some areas to still watch for some pretty good excessive heat. And it doesn't look as concerning as the 6 to 10 day outlook. And again, that's because we aren't seeing as dark as a color across, the western United States or the southern United States. But like I said, I do still think we will be seeing some above average temperatures out here to the west too as well. Now, with the precipitation, as you can see, we will be talking near normal precipitation across a pretty big portion of the eastern United States, but even out here to the west, I do think we will be talking well above average precipitation still across the Four Corners region mainly, but even areas around that could get some pretty good above average precipitation too as well, which will be from June 8th all the way to June 12th, which is what I told you guys on the 6 to 10 day outlook with the temperatures. But if we look at the 8 to 14 day outlook, which is from June 10th all the way to June 16th, we still need to be watching for above average precipitation out here to the west. We still need to be watching for, near normal to slightly above average precipitation out here to the east, and we still also have some dry areas to be watching for too as well, which isn't looking as concerning because probability is extremely low, but I do still think we will be seeing less in the way of precipitation in these brown areas that you see. Now, if we go ahead and look at future severe weather forecasts, okay, as you can see, as of today, we are dealing with some severe weather in the northern plains, and I know it doesn't show as much of a color or a number, which usually indicates, low-end severe weather, but there is actually going to be some pretty hefty and even some dangerous severe weather ongoing in the plains after I did take a look at radar. So if you are under a warning as of right now, you should know what to do across the plains pretty much this evening and into the overnight hours, and I even told you guys what to do as we did take a look at today's severe weather threat too as well on the SPC outlook. So like I said, I do still think we will be seeing some dangerous severe weather, even though this doesn't show as much as a supercell composite. So like I said, make sure you do know what you're doing if you're under a warning, and I even told you guys that as we did look at the Storm Prediction Center outlook. But anyway, as we do continue to take this forward, we will be seeing some of that surge into the Tennessee and as well as the Ohio valleys. The GFS model does get a little bit better as we go a little bit farther out. From what I can tell with it, I did learn a lot about the GFS model, so that's how I know. And as you can see, a lot of the severe weather is likely to go out to the east, like I said, even heading into the mid-Atlantic as we do head into June 6th. And then as we continue to take this forward, we will still be talking some pretty big time severe weather down here towards the southern plains, and I do think severe weather is likely to continue and even be somewhat dangerous throughout the month of June, and this will be as we do head into June 12th, with mainly the southern plains being the main concern as of right now, and we could even be seeing that continue into the Ohio Valley and as well as the Midwest as we do head into Wednesday on June 12th. So certainly, some more days to be watching for, which are quite far out. So we certainly will be talking some changes, but as of right now, we do remain uncertain this point. And as we continue to take this forward, as you can see, we will be talking some big time severe weather as we do head into the middle of June. That's where meteorologists really do expect there to be, the severe weather pretty much starting to ramp up a lot as we do head into the middle of June. That's where severe weather really starts to get quite extreme, and as you can see, all that extreme severe weather even is likely to continue into the Ohio Valley and Tennessee valleys as we do head into the middle of June too as well, which does look to be on the same day. And as that finally heads out, I do think we will see some more rounds, but like I said, all this is really far out, so please expect some things to change as we do get closer, and obviously take this with a grain of salt. Now, if we go ahead and look at the European model, as you can see, we will be seeing quite above average precipitation across the central and as well as the eastern United States. So pretty much this entire area that I'm circling will have the best chance for flash flooding and as well as above average precipitation pretty much in this entire area that I'm circling. And not everybody will see, above average precipitation and flash flooding, because as you can see, a few areas are not getting as much rainfall, but I do still think a lot of these areas such as, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, back into Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, back into Nebraska, and as well as Iowa will be the best areas to be watching for, some pretty good flash flooding and as well as above average precipitation. And those are pretty much the areas that we are also seeing the highest rainfall totals. And if you're wondering how far I'm looking out, that is pretty much from now all the way to June 12th. So pretty much in between now and June 12th is when we can expect, above average precipitation. And like I said, flash flooding too as well will also likely be a concern too as well as we do get closer. So thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I hope you guys are enjoying my new camera. I don't know if you guys saw that in the last video, but I do hope you guys do like my new camera. And this is pretty much my phone camera right here that I'm using as of right now, and my camera shouldn't be looking as scratchy either. This is a lot better looking compared to my computer camera that I used in the past videos. But for today, we are certainly, looking like a lot more of a professional weather video. So if you guys do, like my weather updates, and if you guys do like how my videos look, and if you guys also think my videos are professional, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and especially that like button down below, so that way you guys will, like my channel, and so that way I will continue to do more videos.